What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Q, Quinte, or Quintessential. Whatever you know me as the host of BLK Talk. Guess what? We have an exciting show for you today, so sit back, tune in, and join the conversation. What's going on, everybody? It's Q, Quinte, or Quintessential, and guess what? We are back with another amazing episode of BLK Talk. Welcome to the show. Guys, I definitely like to welcome this amazing young lady to the show. I've known her at this point for, I think, 11 years. It's been like 10 or 11 years. My girl, one of the OGs of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Hollywood Divas, and so much more, Miss Lisa Wu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate it, and I'm proud of you too. And we'll get into every reason why in just a minute. So the world got the opportunity to know you on a larger scale when you became one of the OGs of Real Housewives of Atlanta 14 years ago.
It's been that long, huh? Yeah. Because EJ's 15. So yeah. So
yes. And moving forward, you joined Hollywood Divas, which was a different side of you. We got to see the actress, the producer, and so much more, and from you. So now we're seeing a little bit.
I want to interject though. Let me tell you why that's not absolutely true. Because before I got on Housewives, I had already written a play that Tyler Perry directed. And I've already shot a movie, I'd been acting, but then they didn't want Hollywood types. And so I couldn't say that I had been doing stuff in Hollywood. So it appears that that was my first forte into the industry, but it wasn't. But since it was such a huge show and a phenomenon and everyone loved it globally, right? Then they think that's where I came from. But I have been writing. That was my first gift, to write movies, like before I was in front of a screen, behind the screen, or anything. And then, so then joining Hollywood Divas, it was like Paula J. Parker had came to one of my table reads. And so I was married to Keith then. And so she was like, oh, no. She's not new to the industry. I came to one of her table reads for a movie. So it was that thing. And so that's why it was kind of like they thought it was a wild card, like someone that wasn't in the actor per se circle. But I was. And the people that know, like Jamie Foxx, all those people, it's like, yeah, she's been doing this for like years, But because Housewives, they're like, oh, okay. And she's starting to do this now, whatever. So yeah, actually started doing that stuff before Housewives.
So you started doing it before Housewives, and you're continuing on with it right now, and we'll get into what you have coming up later. But when it comes to writing, producing, and actually acting, when did you discover that you had a passion and a talent for those?
For writing, I was in high school. Yeah, I think like the 10th grade when I started writing. And my father is naturally a gifted writer. Well-spoken, and so I believe I get that from him. He writes really well, and I knew I loved writing and creating stories. And then when I produced that movie, I didn't, I made myself a little part, and then it ended up growing, right? So when you're doing guerrilla filmmaking or producing a film, and your budgets are not as big as the studio budgets, right? We have to cut corners, and we don't have the big budgets that they do. So then when something happens on the set, like as a producer, you're a problem solver, so you fix it. And so I just rewrote the scene, and then when actors don't show up, okay, I'm like, okay, I'll go in, right? And so it's kind of like that. You just gotta fix it. You gotta, it's a lot of problem solving as a producer. So, but writing, yeah, I knew that was my gift. And then so acting, I got bit by the bug and was like, oh, it's kind of fun. And so I remember this makeup lady, she was like, oh my God, she's like, you wrote it, you're producing it. I didn't direct it, but in your acting, she's like, I'm not gonna be able to fix you because I look like shit, right? Can we hear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, because you don't have to be like beep, beep, beep. I mean,
Oh yeah, you're good.
yeah. So she's like, you're gonna be like shit. So I'm not gonna be able to fix this, get some sleep. But I mean, you really can't when there's so many other things that needs to be done. So what I did learn from that is not to wear all those hats and delegate where necessary, right? So pass it on to somebody else. Like you don't have to do everything.
See, now moving forward, so when the reality world got the opportunity to meet you, there was real estate, there was wife, there was mother, and there were a few more business endeavors that you got into. How did you navigate through those and actually be successful while doing it?
And it's crazy. You have to find out what your passion is and not do everything, right? When I was married to Keith, we had did a clothing line, and so I was familiar to the fashion industry. We had did that, and it takes a lot to produce spring, summer, winter, fall. That has to be your passion. Like that has to be your focus, right? So yeah, I love nice clothes and I love to dress and all that stuff and create nice things, but yeah, that would take me away from writing. That would take me away from acting. That would take me, and I'm still a real estate broker. I still do that. I will always sell your house or so always a broker. But yeah, so you can't do it all. And so, and learning that too, it's like you got to step back and say, okay, wait a minute. Am I happy just doing this? Because that'll take up all your time and not doing that, which is your gift,
Yeah.
right? So you have to pursue your passion. And knowing that it's like, okay, I don't necessarily have to do this anymore. I'll always be a real estate broker. I'll always be a writer, actress, and producer. So
Yeah.
anything else, I mean, I definitely will have to have a team to help navigate through it. And then with family, it's just, and even with the stuff, and yeah, I had jewelry, all that stuff. I still do that when I'm running my lines. I do that stuff. I just, but yeah, you need a great team in place and a great, your family has to be your support. You can't do it all.
No,
You can't
absolutely
burn the
not.
candles on both ends because I'm telling you, it won't work, honey.
Nah, it absolutely won't. Trust me. I've tried. I'm pretty sure everybody that's out there who's an entrepreneur of some sort or creative has tried, and it just does not work.
Yeah, it doesn't. And then you just got to know when to step back or when to say, I need help,
Yeah.
or and when to hire the help and when to delegate those responsibilities to someone else.
That is the sign of a true leader,
Yeah.
knowing when to say it's time to grab a team. So
Like, I need help. Yeah.
let's talk about your time on Housewives and your time on Hollywood Divas. Two different shows, two different concepts. For you, what was the biggest takeaway that you took from being on each of those different platforms?
Okay. We'll start with Housewives. That show, it's crazy. It's a phenomenon. Everyone loved that show. And I'm saying that everyone watched it from, I remember Quentin Aaron from The Blind Side. Was it Blind Side? That movie, The Blind Side?
Oh yes, with
Yeah.
the
So we were at some award show and he said, Sandra's looking for you. Where'd you go? And I had this long gown on and it was like, and I was like, I'm trying to get out. And then I was like, damn it, I love Sandra because I wrote a movie thinking about her, playing the part. And so Sandra Bullock, Tom Cruise, I mean, everybody watched the show. And so whether they watched it because it's a train wreck or whether they watched it because they just vicariously like these girls are like, everybody has somebody crazy in their family, right? It's just that everybody's not willing to show it
yeah,
on national television.
keep it in the family.
Right. They're like, oh my God. But there's it's a camaraderie, like even Kim, right? So we just filmed something that Carlos was doing. And so, yeah, I butt heads with Kim. I didn't know any of the girls. Now, the misconception is that Nene hired everybody or knew everyone. I didn't know any of the girls. Nene hired all those girls. I was casted. And so they were like, check out Lisa Wu. And a couple people said, who is this Lisa Wu? Blah, blah, blah. So that's how I got on the show, but they all knew each other. So me coming into the fold is me learning everybody's personality, right? And so when I'm at Sheree's house, I think it was the first episode or something like that, and I'm supposed to be Nene's friend, then they're going, well, Lisa left Nene outside. I'm like, well, shit, it's my first time meeting her tonight. You know what I mean? And so it's just a lot of that. And people don't like to talk about behind the scenes how it really happens.
Mm-hmm.
And people, fans get so attached to what they think happened. And some editing sometimes happens, and then they're hating you for a whole nother reason, and it wasn't that way, right?
Yeah.
And so you really have to have thick skin to be on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely would agree, because having somebody come into your life, and you guys started at a time when reality TV was still fairly in its like infancy stages. So bringing somebody into your life, bringing somebody into your space, I mean, I could imagine that was kind of tough.
I mean, and just the ones that claim they're the fans and they just go in, right? And it's like, oh my god, like, we're still real people.
Yeah.
People, like, and it's crazy. I remember, like reading all these comments when it first took off and everything. We're like, oh my god, oh, that's great, all these, like, and then you start seeing the hate stuff and they're like, oh my god. I'm like, so you have to have thick skin to be in this industry, and definitely for that show. uh you cannot, like, you'll be stressed out.
Now,
And
what I've always wanted to know when it comes to things like that, some people say that they do not read the comments, or, the
oh,
blogs and
people do.
things
Everybody
like that.
does. That's a lie.
Right.
Everybody.
I believe it. But what I also want to know is, do you feel that it's necessary to go to therapy after dealing with, some of the things that you may deal with um, while being on these shows?
I think that would be good to have that component, right? For them
Mhm.
to have that for a weekly thing. But see, then it messes up with the dynamic of the show, right? So because
Mhm.
then they're getting therapy when they come back, they're not the same. They want them crunked up for the reunion, right? So you can't get
Yeah.
healed, right, in your session, and then now you're like, oh no, everything's good. No, no, no. We want the fire on the
Yeah.
reunion. Right? And now our producer's talking to you, right? So
Yeah.
say, you can't do that, although I think sometimes it's necessary. But I also think it's necessary because if certain things bother you too, right? Like, I mean, everybody's human, right? But there might be some underlying issues and something from your
Mhm.
past that triggered that. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And so then you're going on, and so there's a lot to that. But no, I don't think it would be good for a reality show to do it, because then they're coming back and they're totally different people. And they're like, oh, I'm not that person anymore. That's not what you want on a reunion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
it
I
makes
mean,
sense.
yeah, and but it's crazy though, because like throughout the season you'll get along with these girls, and then you work it out, and then you'll see when they're playing stuff back, and then but the reunion you're reliving all this stuff all over again,
Yeah.
and then it's
And
like,
then
oh
and
my god,
and then like some you don't get to see the actual episode until it airs, right? So the
right.
edits and things like that, like you're sitting up here learning things and hearing things that have been said
And
that
then
you
you're
didn't
like,
even
"What's
know
going on
about.
with my friend?" And you're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god!" And then it's edited sometimes a bit. Some things can be taken out of context. It can,
Mhm.
and it happens. And so that's why you have I hate her. Look, listen, people, you can wear the color purple, and if they hate the color purple, then guess what? They'll hate. Like, people will just not like you for whatever reason there
Mhm.
is. They're going to find anything that's wrong with you, right? So
Yeah.
when I say you have to have thick skin, you really can't give a fuck.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel that.
I mean, you do you, not hurt anybody
Yeah.
intentionally, but some people on the show do, and that's why I was like, I don't want to go to jail now.
See, that's one thing that I felt like. I felt like your time on that show, it ended before the world got to know you. Not saying Lisa's the crazy cousin, but I just felt like you had another element of Lisa that we didn't get to see
Well,
on.
it was edited,
But we
and
saw it. Hold up, we saw
no,
it a little bit this past season, though.
no, hey, no, you saw it in the first season when I said I flip you over the couch. When they edited stuff, they edited. So I'm telling you, whenever people would push my button, you was gonna get it. And so I can't control what they edit out, right?
Yeah,
And so
that's true.
Nene would be like, y'all always making her look like she goody two shoes. I said, no, no, no. Wherever you give it to me, I'm gonna give it right back to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always been this person.
Yeah.
And so people from Inglewood, because I'm from Inglewood, right? They'd be like, well, where did Lisa at? Lisa ain't left. Lisa has not left the building. I'm still here. So that's why when I went to Hollywood Divas, they thought, oh, Lisa, now she rah-rah. No, no, no. Lisa's always been the same. Now, I'm not a producer on this. I'm not an editor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they kept those scenes in, I mean, all those scenes, you'd be like, oh, shit. But, you know, I don't bother anybody, but you give it to me, you definitely getting it back.
Yeah.
And so that hasn't changed. That's been from season 1. So, and that's why Sheree, they were like, oh my God, Lisa's like, oh no, she's been this way.
Yeah.
Like, I've taped with her. Like, y'all the ones that was edit. So that's when they're like, oh, Lisa's boring. Lisa's this. They're like, believe that if you want
to. Now, we got a chance to see you on an episode this past season 14. And you walked in, you looked good, you meshed with the girls. Now, if you had the opportunity to go back, would you
go back to that scene?
No, to Housewives, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I'm a little oily. I'm just patted. I would come play with the girls, but see, this is the thing. They got to respect somebody because, you know, like, listen. So if you remember, first season, second season. So if you remember back then, anybody that remembers, there were types. So Sheree was supposed to be the bitch, the businesswoman. Nene's bully. Kim is whatever the fuck she was, and Deshaun, like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever she, you know what I mean? And so you had your lanes.
Yeah.
And so then they would be like, nope, like Lisa's going off on this one, that don't fit her lane. Edit. So whoever the editors were then and the producers then, that's how they chose to do it. So by the time the second season and the third season started coming, they letting everybody just be free and being themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I was on the earlier seasons to where they're like, nope, this is her lane. And so anything outside of that lane, nope, edit that. That doesn't work for the character. But I'm like, I thought we were being real people. You know, do you understand? Like,
wow.
So, but now the latter seasons, everyone, they're just letting them be them.
Yeah.
And that's how it was on Hollywood Divas. Everybody's just being themselves. We've acted in movies, we've been on television. And so that's a different, and you asked me that question. So the difference was with that Hollywood Divas is that these actresses have been in the industry over 20, 30 years, right? And love their work and dope. And then, you know, and so they're being who they are, but they're not hitting below the belt either. You know what I mean? Like the stuff sometimes I feel like on Housewives and, you know, they hit below the belt sometimes. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not where I come from, dude. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about our kids. We don't do it. I don't do any of that.
Yeah, if we have an issue, let us have that issue. Don't bring my kids into it. Don't bring.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I get it. So, being an actress, being a producer, yesterday or recently, we had the opportunity. I'm not sure if you watched it, but the Emmys were on, and I feel that the Emmys. It was a pretty big night, and for one reason, for me in particular. I have been watching a documentary on Cheryl Lee Ralph and how she's been in the industry for over 40 years. She was one of the original Dream Girls. She's held on to roles, but she's also missed out on roles because producers or directors, they had a vision of of who they wanted her to be. And she didn't want to be that. But yesterday, after over 40 years, she finally got the respect of her peers. Like for you, being in the industry, how does a moment like that, how did a moment like that make you feel?
First of all, I love her. I think she's great. You're always happy for anyone of color to get recognized because sometimes our counterparts never do, right? And you do the work and we get paid less and we could be a beast just as like Meryl Streep, and then like Viola was like, oh no, I'm, you know what I mean, and so you don't get the accolades
Mm-hmm.
right away, and so it's like for us, it's like we have to work harder,
Mm-hmm.
um, and not get weary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not get frustrated. So if anything, it's like it always comes, but you have to find your rewards in other ways, opposed from
Mhm.
getting from someone else or from an award, from a show or from anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be my thing that I need this award. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm sure she has her own measurements of what that looks like, but it feels good to get acknowledged. But I'm sure, like, to stay in the industry and to keep going and not give up, you
Yeah.
got to have your own measure stick of, okay, it's okay, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Opposed to waiting to, because if you're waiting for that, then you'll bail out and be like, I'm done. Like, I can't
Yeah.
do it. You're waiting for somebody else to pat you on the back. But if you're doing it because you love it, just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have kept pushing, and your influence has now rubbed off on your baby. So now Justin is acting. How does Justin
Yeah.
do?
Justin, you said how old? I don't
Yeah.
know if we want to tell the age because
Oh, never mind. We won't tell the age, but
so actors, it's an actor's range, right? So
mm,
Justin goes out with they'll send him out like with 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds,
oh yeah.
and he's
Yeah,
literally
I can see it. I can see it. So Justin, guys, if you aren't familiar, is her son. It's the second oldest son.
my middle son. Yep.
Yeah, her middle son. And I actually had the chance to, I was, scrolling to do. I'm like, oh, okay. This looks interesting. Let's watch this. So I think it was The Stepmother,
Yep.
with him and Marcus Houston and
Mhm.
Erica,
Erica Mena.
Erica Mena. And I'm
Mhm.
like, wow, look at little Lisa on the screen just getting
I
it in.
know,
So
my twin, right?
I was like, wow. So for you, a mother who's been in the industry for so long, how does that feel to know like your child is actually doing the work? And what sort of influence do you feel like you've had on him throughout his time in the industry?
Well, that wasn't his first movie. His first movie was with me in London Mitchell's Christmas, and so I think it's on Amazon Prime or something. And so they said, Lisa, we need your son. I said, use my son. And they like, can he act? I said, nobody will. And so I just coached him. I said, son, get off book. I gave him the lines. I said, know your lines. I'm going to LA. My mom was battling cancer then, and so I was going back and forth. And then I was like, just know your lines when I come back. And so then I was like, let me see what you got. And then he gave me the line, and I was like, oh shit, we might be in trouble. Like, wait a minute. So then we just broke it down, scene by scene, beat by beat, and he killed it.
Yeah,
And so he got bit by the bug, and you got to watch it. It's London Mitchell's Christmas. It's on Amazon Prime. He did a really good job then, and so he liked the experience. And then from there, the stepmother. And so Chris Stokes and Juanita Stokes. I went to school with Juanita Stokes, Chris Stokes' sister. It's crazy.
okay.
Um, but yeah, and then Keith had something to do with that film, I think.
Yeah, I
And so
think he
yeah,
directed
yeah,
or produced or
yeah. No,
something.
no, oh no, he didn't direct. Chris Stokes directed, but yeah.
No,
So
but I think I saw the name in the credits under.
yeah, yeah. So probably the executive producers or producer something. But they're
Yeah.
about to film Stepmother 2, and then he's in another one. Yeah, he has to go back to LA in a couple weeks. And
Okay.
then there's another one, You're Not Alone, I believe, that's coming out probably within the next couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's playing lead. So I'm really, really proud. And I'm really proud that he's humble. He's gets to the set, he's ready, he does the work and ready to kill it, and just he's he's laid back, and they're like, oh my god, he's gonna be a superstar because he's just so laid back and so easy and down to earth. I'm like, what other way would he be?
Now,
Well,
what advice have you given him about navigating through not only being an actor, but the business behind the industry?
you know um he has his dad there, and then I'm here, but he learns by being next to us, And then, so of course, like contracts, of course, he has an agent. His agent is my agent too. And so, but as far like my kids are my best friends. And so we talk every day. So advice with, um, I lead by example. And so they'll see how I operate and how I handle. So they're naturally just that way, caring individuals, and then they're going to be professional. They're going to do what you need to do. And so I think when they see that, like, it's like, it ain't no uh riffraff type of stuff, like, oh, get to the set and I'm doing what I get there when I want to get there, or I do this, or like it's nonchalant. It's like bam, bam, like we're here, you're on time, like you're ready. You know what I mean? And so I think when you see your parents or people that are in the industry operate that way, you have no other choice but to step up and be the same exact way.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't come to set late. You don't make excuses and say this and that and the other, or if the director corrects you and this and that and the other, you're like, okay, so what would you like me to do different? Like, so when you see that, then you're like, okay, that's how it should be done.
Okay. Now,
because if there was someone else and a kid, I mean, a parent that has a child and they want to be in that industry, but they have lack of respect for the set, or lack of respect for their peers and other people around, or for production, right? And going off on people, then you naturally sometimes will pick up that energy and be the same way, because you'll be like, well, I can, right? And not that it's right, but because I can, and I've seen it been done like that. And this is what my daddy do, or this is what my mom does. So I could do it, they could wait, but that is not. His dad is going to be on time. His dad's going to do his show. I'm going to be on. We're going to do our stuff. We're going to do what needs to be done. And like, bam, bam, man, handle your stuff. Get your stuff. Okay, let's go. Okay, nice to meet you guys. Okay, thank you guys for everything. So I think, they follow because they see.
Okay. Now, being the mother of 3 young Black men, with everything that had, been going on in the world, and with some of the opportunities that they've been afforded, like, are there any conversations that you've had with your sons that you feel like other people should have with theirs, that they, may not have had, but, it's vital to their growth as Black men and, as professionals?
I think it's just, like I said, and it goes back to living by example and them seeing it, and because they're very caring and very nurturing, right? So if you see your other brother out there and something's going on, and like they're always willing to help, or someone is being taken advantage of, or being teased. Like I was always that person that was always defending the person that people were teasing. I'm like, well, why do you like bullies? I'll beat the bully up. Like I protect people. And so they're the same way. So when we see that, we're like, look, dude, don't do that. That ain't right. Like, so they're quick to shut stuff down. Like we don't talk about people. We don't have conversations about, for what? And my nephew Sterling. So we always I've raised them all to just kind of be like, yeah, we don't do that. Like, you get in the bag with them. Why are we discussing them? Like, I don't even know why they're in my conversation. Like that's wasted energy for me. Like, let's move on. Like, bring something to me that we can do and talk that's positive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sitting up talking about people, like they're not around that energy. They're around, okay, what can we do collectively? Let's be productive. Let's all, and help one another. That's what they see. So that's how they're going to be, opposed to sitting up talking about people, or they ain't all that, or they don't like have an envious bone in their body, or jealous. Like, for what?
Okay.
Because they don't see that. Right.
So leading by example.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. So you're raising positive, motivated.
Oh no, they're very positive. Yeah. I'm blessed.
Now, Jordan, which bug did he get? Did he get the acting, producing? Did he get the music?
Well, no, they both have music, and so they're perfectionists like their dad, and so that's the thing that they got from Keith, because he's a perfectionist, and so they have some heat. And I'm like, okay, when y'all gonna release? When y'all gonna release? And I'm like, when I wrote my first movie, like, and I put it out, and I'm going, you're always gonna get better, right?
Yeah.
It's dope. And I'm like, and I'm not saying that because you're my child. I'm like, I would help like pick Keith singles. Like there's music people in the industry like, Lisa, which one? I'm like, that's a single. Because I used to dance. Like I'm like, that's it. Like that's the single. And so they know I know. And so like I have an ear for music. And so just waiting. And so, but Justin said he's about to, because he was waiting for this other film to drop, and he's about to drop, and so Jordan's about to drop too. So, but they got some heat. So,
the sweat boys, I might need to
oh no,
have them.
no, you haven't heard anything.
You said
Oh
what?
my God, you haven't heard anything.
I don't know why I feel like one of them had something on
Maybe,
the show.
maybe when they were like really young, but that was like something. I mean, oh my God, that was. I don't know.
I'm gonna check. I might have to come on over there and hear something. Now, EJ,
Oh,
which way is he going? Is he gonna be
DJ's
into
football.
sports? Is he gonna be okay?
You know that.
Okay.
And so he's football. And so my agent wanted him, and he's like, nope, just football. I'm like, please have a backup. Like, you always got to
Yeah.
have a backup. And so, no, but, this whole journey has been amazing. And oh, so even with Housewives, right? So look, I started out, me and Nene like ended up being really close, and I was close to Greg. Greg was my boy. I
Yeah.
love Greg. But me and Sheree, like that's my girl. So like over the years, we've gotten pretty close, and so yeah, we have a good time, and we're doing a project together. So something that's scripted. So
Okay.
yeah,
I can't wait to hear about that. Now, what
yeah.
else do you have going on? Like, I know you are busy pounding the pavement doing the work. So, like, what is coming out? What can we look forward to?
Let's see. So I have a movie called Rift. I think that's coming out next month. RIFT Rift. I played this detective. There's another movie. I gotta go on IMDb and figure out like all this stuff because you shoot them and you don't know when like they're coming out because have to edit and the
Mm,
sound and you got to figure out what distributor you're going with. And
yeah.
so Rift is coming out. The next 24 is another one I was in. Um, and then a season of Tales. I'm on the finale of Tales.
Oh, okay.
Uh, that I don't know. I guess that'll be in a month or so. So I'm on
Okay.
the finale of that
It's
one.
on the current, like the second season now, or something like
They're on the
that. Like,
third season.
oh, it's on the third season. See,
Yeah.
I've seen Tales, but I haven't like gotten all into it. But like, I feel like I need to, and I especially need to get in there. I need to support you and see you
Well, see,
on it.
I hadn't even.
Hey, well, guess what, y'all? We're gonna wait on Lisa to come back. As we know, guys, technical difficulties happen. Somebody probably called her, like y'all been trying to call me. But in the meantime, I definitely thank you guys for continuing to support the BLK Talk brand and myself. We had a couple more episodes this season. And yeah, we're just going to keep bringing you some amazing people. So in the meantime, I definitely appreciate you guys for continuing to support what I've been doing and what each and every person that's come on this platform has been doing. Season 2, I'm already preparing some amazing things and some great interviews just like we did this season. And yeah, support, and I appreciate it. So we're gonna let her log back in, and then we're gonna finish the conversation.
It went dead. You hear me?
Yes.
I'm back.
She's back. So yes, I was just filling the people in on what we have going on. But as far as you go, you said Rift, you said the season finale of Tales, and
The
what
next
else?
24. The next
Yes,
24.
the next 24.
And Scavenger Hunt is a movie I wrote,
Oh,
producing, and I'm in. And Sheree is also going to be in that. And
okay.
let's develop another television series as well called Click. So me, Simone. Have you met Simone?
I don't know. Who is Simone?
Nia's partner? No.
I don't know.
Okay, probably not. Okay, so another writer. So we developed that show, and then Sheree is like coming on board on that. So we have a lot of scripted stuff that we're shooting too that we're producing. So yeah, excited
But
about this.
your girl is working. You know that, guys. She is
Hey, well,
working.
somebody better because hey, the bills are not gonna pay themselves.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Well, look, Lisa, I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your schedule. You know, I know you got to get to those boys.
No, I love you and I appreciate you and I miss you so much. I mean, like, but I think we've known each other over. No, it's been over 10 years for real.
Is you know what? Is it has been over 10 years. Like, oh shit. It's
Hey,
been
ask me a question. You know what? You should have told people some questions. Like you could have asked something, and I would have. You can ask me
okay.
a question.
So I want to know if you remember this. Where's the first time we met?
Oh my goodness, you gonna go back like that?
Yep.
Damn, I'm older.
And so am I, because it actually was 14. It was 13 years ago that we met. Picture it, Atlanta, March 7th, I believe it was, 2009. Niecy Nash had a birthday party at Derek Blank's studio.
Yep. And it's some kind of house thing, right?
Yes, it was, and it was right before I turned 22. It was the day before I turned 22. I met you, I met Sheree, and I met Nene. That was the night I stopped drinking White Zinfandel and started drinking Riesling because of
why?
Nene. Because of Nene.
Nene? Oh
yes.
My God.
So I remember that. So our first conversation when we first exchanged numbers, do you remember that?
Where we first that was it there?
No. We took pictures there. We got to know each other there, but that's not where we exchanged.
I can make some shit up, but you like it no.
Twitter.
Where?
It was Twitter.
Where?
Twitter.
Twitter?
In the beginning of Twitter, yes, it was.
It was not.
Because I was tweeting people that I knew, and yes, it was Twitter.
Get out of here.
Yes, it was.
Well,
so it is.
So look. So there's only a couple people that have actually given my number out on Twitter or on Instagram, and but all those relationships are great and just beautiful people, like and so I don't regret it. You get some horror stories, right? Like I'm very careful though. Like I'm very in tune.
And people aren't the same now. Like years ago, I mean, I was working with a magazine, so I was a media personality. So I kind of was different than just like your normal. Ooh, I'm a fan and I love you and yada yada yada. So it started off a different way, but I've always appreciated you for being real, being welcoming, open, not fake. And
hey, look, I don't know any other way to be but real. And so that's when you were like, oh, and people saw a different side. And so when you were like, would I do anything differently? I'm like, what, that scene with what's her name? Like, what's her name again? No, not like that. Not like that. Wasn't getting shade for real.
Sonia.
Like, what's her name again? Sonia.
Sonia.
No, but I was talking.
Yeah.
Hey, and it
right.
Hey, no, listen.
Lady.
It wasn't even. She talking about. But Lisa, this person want to talk. She got a damn mouth. Okay. Well, then guess what? Hold your thought. When I'm done talking, then she can share her thought, or you can share her thought for her. What the fuck? Who does that? Like I'm talking.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things with the new girls, right? Like sometimes they trying to get their beat in because the producer is telling them, you got to say this.
Yeah.
Oh, but not on my watch. I'm fucking talking. Yeah.
They were trying to see, they come in and they try you because everybody's trying to solidify their spot with everything that they have. So and
it's crazy because a lot of people that don't know me was like, oh, Lisa came in and she trying to. Oh, honey, if you know Lisa has been this way, sweetheart.
Yeah, you just got the opportunity to find that out for yourself. But real quick, don't hang up after this. Lisa, once again, I appreciate you so much for being on BLK Talk. This is not going to be the first time, and I think I want you on the panel too when I start that back.
Okay.
But give people your social media and how they can contact you and keep up with what you have going on.
So everything updates. Well, see, I'm not on Facebook. Some people Like they're like, Lisa, you don't answer yourself. So Instagram is the #1 Lisa Wu. Twitter is the #1 Lisa Wu. And actually, I'm not really on Twitter like that either. I'm actually just Instagram. I should be posting more, but I'm working.
Right. Hey, and we don't
And
mind.
so I get on and I get off. And so people will be like, well, did you see this? You said, like, I'm not on there like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in, and then I'll see the post before, the post like right around there, and then I'm gone. And then I'll check my DMs because people like check your DMs. And then it's crazy because like when you're checking your DMs, right? And so if somebody has already texted you and you're checking your DMs and it says you're online, I hate that shit, right? Because they're like, oh, she online. You didn't answer my message, but you on you know what I mean? Instagram.
Ain't nobody worried about these people.
Hey, but look,
like you said,
it's business. So the
working.
people that are telling me check my DMs is business. So like, what? I'm like, why would you DM me that? But anyway, so like, you got my email, but I'm like, because I hate that like Lisa's active now, checking my messages on here.
Look, we appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow Lisa. She has so many projects coming out. Also, follow her sons. They are doing some amazing things.
Yeah. So let me see. I would have to go off the screen, but I guess I can give it to you later. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I'll put it. I'll put the link to the guys' Instagrams in the description box, so you guys can click on it and go ahead and follow them, see what they have going on. But Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And you're gonna explain the Christmas tree because they're like, what is a Christmas tree? I'm like,
you know, I asked this, guys. All right.
Because they're like, why did you have a Christmas tree back there?
Why do you have a Christmas tree?
Because I said it's always Christmas. It's a hookah room. So it's a black Christmas tree. I got a white one, and then it's a hookah room. I got a gang of pictures on my wall, and this table you got to come sign. Like it's cute. It's you got to come over and I'll cook for you.
See, I'm
always
hungry. So look, guys, we appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in to BLK Talk with my girl Lisa Wu.
Bye.